What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping back into Destiny 2 for the weekly reset, and of course it is April 13th, so we're kind of moving into the last month before the start of a new season, and we're into some of the final bits in the content cycle. So we've got a final week of chosen challenges, but then also the final Iron Banner of Season 13, and we'll get bonus Valor alongside that. And then we have the Nightfalls and rewards for the week. Plus we'll see if any surprises pop up, cover all of our key activities, vendors, and more right here in the video. So if you find this one useful, feel free to get subscribed and I'll keep you posted on the world of D2. But now let's get into it. And as we get into the game today, of course we do have the return of the Iron Banner, as well as bonuses to Valor all week long inside of the Crucible, so it is going to be the final time for the season, and we'll touch on that a little bit more in a moment. Then otherwise, once again, we don't have any kind of milestone pop-ups immediately in the game for this week, and of course we completed the kind of cycle of weekly quests for the season. And otherwise, for the moment, when we head to Helm, we don't have any kind of new dialogue or things like that popping up, so we'll have to see, once again, if we get any kind of story updates inside of Glycon, or any other means before the end of the season. For a quick preview of the final set of challenges for Season of the Chosen, of course it is week 10, and since we're about a month away from the next season, we'll essentially have this time to catch up and complete any challenges we've missed. But for this week we have a challenge to defeat Elite or Boss Cabal inside of the Proving Ground strike. We need to use rocket launchers or grenades to defeat combatants anywhere in the system, and we get bonus progress for rapidly defeating them and defeating Cabal. That's a double XP challenge. Then there's one to discover more lenses at the Prismatic Recaster. We can get double XP by defeating 80 Guardians in the Iron Banner with elemental takedowns, and we'll earn bonus progress for stasis takedowns. And finally one to defeat combatants in strikes with elemental final blows, and we earn bonus progress by defeating combatants with stasis there as well. Then as far as we know, next week we won't have another set of season challenges. But moving over to the Iron Banner for the final time this season, it will be the last chance to pick up the specific set and to grab the pinnacle bounties and all of that stuff. However, we do know that Iron Banner will finally get a couple of new weapons next season, which is nice, but for now, we can take advantage of all of the additional rewards and bonuses to Valor all week long, so we should have double Valor, then from Friday, triple Valor. And so have fun with that one, and let us know if you'll be jumping in down in the comment section. However, when it comes to the Nightfalls for this week, we can see that the Proving Grounds is popping up once again, so that'll be an interesting one to jump in and complete both on normal and Grandmaster mode. Then of course, all of the other difficulties in between. But for the strike weapon this week, we should be getting the Shadow Price, and of course, we get all of the normal powerful and pinnacle drops inside of the playlists. We should also mention that Bungie Help have just tweeted, and they've said they've made a change where access to the Proving Grounds Nightfall will now require either Beyond Light or Season of the Chosen, and players no longer need both of them in order to access the Nightfall, so at least that's a positive change. But it will still require at least one of those pieces of content. Moving over to the Eververse store though, as always, a bunch of different items are featured for silver on the front page right there. But for the Bright Dust section that comes on the front page, we've got the Copper Brand shader available this week, as well as the Fire Victorious shell. And then the Chain Yanker emote is available, as well as the Let's Chat exotic emote. But moving to the main Bright Dust page, we do have the Playing Airplane multiplayer emote, so let's take a quick look at how that one appears in the game right there. There is also the Power Check emote right there, a legendary one for this season, available for 700 Bright Dust. And then we've got the Metropolitan Cutter exotic sparrow for this season, a somewhat interesting looking thing, I suppose. And then I'm seeing the Celestial Helm, so we should have helmets from the Universal Ornament set this week, as well as the Fist Pump emote. Let's take a look at that one while we're at it. And then there is the Atropos ornament right there for Divinity that we can grab this week, so that's a pretty cool one. We can get that for 1250 Bright Dust, but also the Taurus projection for the Ghost projection this week. And then we've got the Shattered Shrieker transmat effect, the Signal Process transmat effect, as well as the Cabal Arrival transmat effect. And then finally for the shaders right here on the main page, we've got Chitin Slate, as well as Vanguard Magnus Gloss, but also Monochromatic, a couple of super old school shaders right there. And then finally, Frumious Blue. We may as well take a look at the Banshee inventory for today. Of course, it does change on a daily basis, and we've got Sidearm Scavenger, as well as Targeting Adjuster, so not super exciting, but maybe kind of useful. And then, as always, the Material Exchange, bounties, and stuff like that. Legend and Master Lost Sectors for today are on Europa, so we've got Bunker E15 at 1330, dropping exotic helmets, and then Perdition at 1300, dropping exotic legs, but once again, these will change on a daily basis. And while we're on the Europa Director right here, we do have Simulation Survival for the Exo Challenge this week. And also the Empire Hunt that's featured is the Dark Priestess, so opportunities for pinnacle gear. And we can see Eventide Ruins is the Eclipse Zone right there. But if you're jumping into Deepstone Crypt, we've got copies for the challenge this week, so once again, extra opportunities at Pinnacle Gear. We also may as well take a quick look at the moon right here. So for the Nightmare Hunts, we have Anguish, as well as Despair, and then Insanity. As always, there is the Pit of Heresy dungeon, with some of that updated loot at the moment. And for Garden of Salvation, the challenge this week is 0 to 100. But finally, for the Dreaming City, this week's Ascendant challenge is the Agonarch Abyss, found via the Bay of Drowned Wishes. So that's the lost sector immediately next to the spawn in Dreaming City. And it could be useful if you're hunting down any stuff. But for this week, guys, that's everything that we have to round up inside of this video. So as always, I hope you have found it useful. As we get closer to the launch of the next season, I'll be sure to keep you posted with all the new details and stuff like that when we get them. So feel free to get subscribed and turn on notifications to keep it locked and loaded here on the channel. Also, a rating down below really does help us out if you have enjoyed the video. But for now, I hope you guys have an awesome day.
The current. You're so deep into the well.
Guardian down. Guardian down.